Once upon a time, in a small village in Igbo land, there lived two young boys named Chijioke and Uche. They were both in their last year of primary school and were very good students. They loved to read books and play football, but there was one thing they both secretly loved more than anything else: music and dancing. Every Friday after school, Chijioke and Uche would secretly talk about a special place in the big city, about an exciting place they heard so much about, a nightclub. It was a place full of lights, music, and dancing. The two boys had heard that teenagers and even adults from far and wide went there to have fun. The idea of going there felt thrilling, but they knew their parents would never allow it. One day, while Chijioke and Uche were sitting under the big mango tree at school, they made a big decision. "Let's stop going to school on Fridays," Chijioke said, his eyes full of excitement. "We can use the time to go to the nightclub." Uche looked around nervously, making sure no one was listening. "But what if our parents find out?" he whispered. "We'll just tell them we're going to school extra hours to study. We'll be careful. Besides, they won't know," Chijioke insisted with a wide grin on his face. Uche wasn't so sure, but he didn't want to seem scared. "Okay, let's do it. This Friday, we're going to the nightclub," he agreed. And so, the plan was set. Every Friday, the two boys would sneak away from school and head to the big city. They would miss their school lessons, but the music, the dancing, and the lights of the nightclub made it feel so much more exciting. They didn't realize how dangerous it was. On the first Friday after they left school, they took a bus to the city. The big buildings and busy streets made them feel nervous, but also amazed. The bus ride was long, but finally, they reached the entrance of the nightclub. The doors were heavy, and as they pushed them open, the loud sound of music hit their ears. The place was filled with people dancing, laughing, and enjoying themselves. It was nothing like the quiet village they knew. "Wow!" Uche gasped, his eyes wide with wonder. He had never seen anything like it before. People were dancing in every corner and bright lights flashed across the room. Chijioke, excited and proud of their secret, pulled Uche onto the dance floor. They started to dance, trying to copy the older boys and girls around them. The music was fast, and their feet moved in ways they had never done before. It felt so good. The boys went to the nightclub every Friday. They would stay until late at night, and when they returned home, they would sneak back to bed before anyone noticed. But soon, something started to change. Their schoolwork began to suffer. They were no longer the good students they used to be. They would fall asleep in class, and their homework was never done on time. One morning, their teacher, Mrs. Ijeoma, noticed something strange. "Chijioke, Uche, why are you always looking so tired? You're not paying attention in class. What's going on?" she asked. Chijioke and Uche exchanged nervous glances. We've been studying extra hard at home," Uche lied quickly. Mrs. Ijeoma raised an eyebrow. She wasn't convinced. "You two are smart boys, but if you keep missing school like this, you will fall behind. I don't want that to happen. You need to focus on your education. It's important." The boys promised to do better, but the truth was, they were finding it harder and harder to focus on school. The excitement of the nightclub was too strong, and their grades began to drop. They no longer cared about the books they used to love. Their eyes were always on the next Friday night. One evening, after a long night of dancing, they headed back home as usual, but something was different this time. As they were walking down the street, they saw their village elders gathered around the village square. They were talking about something serious. "Those boys, Chijioke and Uche, their behavior is getting worse. They are always tired, always missing school," one elder said. "I heard they are going to the city on Fridays, skipping school for a nightclub. We cannot let this continue. We need to talk to their parents." The boys froze. They hadn't expected anyone to notice. The next day when they went home, their parents sat them down with serious faces. "We've been hearing things about you two," their father said. "Is it true that you are missing school to go to that nightclub in the city?" Chijioke and Uche looked at each other. There was no point in lying anymore. "Yes, it's true," Chijioke admitted quietly. Their mother sighed deeply. "We have worked so hard to give you an education. Why would you throw it away for a place like that?" Uchi's father shook his head sadly. You should be studying and playing outside with your friends, not spending your time in places where you shouldn't be. We trusted you, but now you've broken that trust." The boys felt ashamed. They knew they had let their parents down. They were good boys, but the excitement of the nightclub had led them astray. The next day, the two boys went to school early, feeling bad about what had happened. They had learned their lesson. It wasn't just about the nightclub, it was about making good choices and valuing their future. Mrs. Ijeoma noticed the change in them. "I'm glad to see you both back on track. It's never too late to fix things," she said with a smile. "You have a bright future ahead of you. Don't waste it." From that day forward, Chijioke and Uche never missed school again. They focused on their lessons, and though they still liked music, they understood that there was a time and place for everything. They spent their Fridays studying, helping their parents with chores, and playing with their friends. Years later, Chijioke and Uche became successful in their own ways. Chijioke became a doctor, and Uche became an engineer. They never forgot the lesson they learned as young boys. Education was the most important thing in life, and no nightclub or dance could ever replace it. And so, Chijioke and Uche's story was shared with other children in the village, teaching them that fun and excitement are good, but not at the cost of their future. They were no longer the boys who abandoned school for the nightclub. They had become the boys who chose education above everything else. Today, let's talk about the lessons of this beautiful story. Education is important. Chijioke and Uche learned that skipping school and neglecting their studies for short-term fun led to negative consequences. Education should always be a priority as it shapes your future. 2. Making good choices. The story teaches the importance of making wise decisions, even when faced with temptation. Sometimes it's easy to make poor choices, but those choices can affect your life in ways you may not realize at first. 3. The value of hard work. After their mistakes, the boys understood that success requires effort, discipline, and focus. They worked hard to improve their studies and their relationship with their parents. 4. Family trust is valuable. When Chijioke and Uche broke their parents' trust, they realized how precious that trust was. They learned that earning and maintaining their family's trust was more important than any night out. 5. Fun in moderation. The boys discovered that it's okay to have fun and enjoy life, but it should never come at the cost of your responsibilities and future. Balancing fun with hard work is key to success and happiness. Thank you for watching and supporting our channel. Please support us more by subscribing and comment, like and share for more amazing stories like this one. See you on the next one.